Yo, what's up Emo gang, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you my views and predictions on the Premier League Game Week 2 predictions. So let's get started. Right. Let's get started. So the first game is West Ham versus Chelsea. Not expecting too much of this one. I mean, it's a tame little game. West Ham, very bad team. Chelsea, very good team, you know. I value Chelsea. I think they're going to do well this season. West Ham, on the other hand, I reckon they get close to relegation. I think it's going to be an easy scrape for Chelsea. I think it's going to be West Ham 0, Chelsea 3. I think that Cole Palmer will get 2 goals. I think that João Pedro will get a goal as well. And I think the 2 players to watch in that game is West Ham's Jared Bowen and Chelsea's Cole Palmer. So the next game is Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur. My team, Tottenham. So I think this is going to be a very exciting game to watch. It's the early kickoff, the 12:30 kickoff. I hate 12:30 kickoffs for one reason and one reason only. It's because the players don't get enough time to prepare, you know? Make all the games at 8 o'clock or 4:30, something like that. Make the players have enough time to prepare. But enough about that. I'm just going to get straight to the prediction. I think both teams got a win. Both teams won their games in match week 1. Man City's win over Wolves and Tottenham's win over Burnley. I think Tottenham have this one. I generally do think that Tottenham do have this one. Kulusevski's meant to be out till 2026, but look how good we've been playing without him. I'm not saying Kulusevski's bad, but I'm just saying look how good we've been playing without him. I think it's going to be Manchester City 2, Tottenham 3. I think that Haaland and Tajani Rangers will be the Manchester City scorers, and I think that Richarlison, Kudus and Johnson will all get goals for Tottenham. And I think the 2 players to watch in that game will be Man City's Tajani Rangers and Tottenham's Mohamed Kudus. So the next game is Bournemouth versus Wolves. I think this will be a very easy game for Bournemouth. Bournemouth lost their game against Liverpool. Wolves lost their game against Man City. Both losing teams, but I think that Bournemouth are a better team. And I think Bournemouth win this game 2-0. I think Anthony Semenyo stars in this game. I think he scores 2 goals. And I think the 2 players to watch in this game are Bournemouth's Anthony Semenyo and Wolves' Jørgen Strand Larsen. So the next game is Brentford versus Aston Villa. I think that Brentford are going to get absolutely swiped. I think they're going to lose this game by a lot of goals. I think Aston Villa, since they drew to Newcastle, I think they're going to do a bit better than they did the last game. I think it's going to be Brentford 0, Aston Villa 4. I think that the goal scorers will be Demonial Mallon. I think he will get the first goal, and then I think Ollie Watkins will get a second half hat trick. And I think that the 2 players to watch is Brentford's Nathan Collins and Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins. So the 5th game. Oh, we're halfway there. Right. Just because it's a new season doesn't mean that that intro is not going to be forgotten. We always do the Bon Jovi, oh, we're halfway there. You know, if you're a new viewer, we always do it. So, the 5th game, Burnley versus Sunderland. Relegation battle, basically. 2 teams that are bound to get relegated this season, I think. I think that Sunderland have had great form this season so far. They won their game against West Ham, thrashed them 3-0. That's shock of the Premier League so far. I think that Sunderland do win this game. Burnley haven't had great form in the Premier League over the last few years. I think Burnley 1, Sunderland 2. I think that Kyle Walker scores for Burnley to make it 1-0 before half time. And I think the second half, Simon Adingra and Granit Xhaka get the 2 goals to win the game and complete the comeback. And I think that Kyle Walker and Simon Adingra will be the players to watch in that game. So the 6th game is Arsenal versus Leeds. So Eze, that little snake, yeah, he had a deal agreed with Tottenham, and then Arsenal came knocking on the door, knock knock, hello, and then Arsenal came in, knocked on him. Eze obviously chose Arsenal because he wants to not win trophies, so you know, very weird logic there, and it's ridiculous because his paperwork wasn't filled in on time, so he can't play on Sunday. Ha! Suck it, Arsenal fans. Ha! He cannot play on Sunday, is what I have heard from reliable sources. So, I still think, unfortunately, Arsenal have a great squad. I still think they win this game. I think it's going to be Arsenal 3, Leeds 1. I think that Perot, or Piroe, I don't know how you say his name, Piroe, Perot, I don't know, scores a goal. I think he scores, one of their best players. And I think that Gyökeres, Saka and Christian Norgård scores. They will score goals. And I think the two players to watch in that game is Arsenal's Bukayo Saka and Leeds Perot. Sorry, I don't know his first name. Right, the 7th game is Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. I think that it's going to be a very balanced game since Crystal Palace have lost Eze now, but they still got good players like Adam Wharton. Who else have they got? They got Mark Gahey, Jean-Philippe Mateta. I think he'll cook in this game, but I still think they'll lose 2-1. I think it'll be Crystal Palace 1, Nottingham Forest 2. And I think that Jean-Philippe Mateta will score for Crystal Palace, and I think that Chris Wood will get a brace for Nottingham Forest. And the two players to watch in that game will be Jean-Philippe Mateta of Crystal Palace and Chris Wood of Nottingham Forest. So the 8th game is Everton versus Brighton. Again, I think it's going to be a very sad game, just very pointless. I think there's a few goals in it though, just tap-ins I should imagine. I think it's going to be a tie. I think it's going to be Everton 2, Brighton 2. I think that Beto scores for Everton. I also think that James Tarkowski gets a goal as well. And I think that Matoma scores twice for Brighton. And the two players to watch in that game, I think, will be Jack Grealish of Everton. I think he'll get 2 assists with the goals. And I think that Harry Matoma will be Brighton's player to watch in that game. So yeah, the 9th game is Fulham versus Manchester United. So, you know, Fulham versus Manchester United, it always ends up in a 1-0 win to Man United. I don't know why, it just always does. But that's not going to be the case. I don't think that will be the case. I think Man United have got the squad to challenge for Europe. Not the league title, but for Europe. I think that Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, I think that Man United scrape away this game. I think it's going to be Fulham 2, Man United 4. Wait, wrong way. Fulham 2, Man United 4. I think that Rodrigo Muniz and Anthony Robinson get goals for Fulham. And I think that Sesko scores twice and Bruno Fernandes scores twice. And the two players to watch, I think, in that game are Rodrigo Muniz and Benjamin Sesko. So, yeah, the final game. Oh, we've made it there. Okay, no, we won't do that. We won't do that. That's a bit stupid of me. Sorry. Tap me in the comments. Alright, there we go. Final game, Newcastle versus Liverpool. The Battle of Isak. Eddie Howe wants Isak playing soon. I don't think he'll play in this game. Actually, he might, just to show Liverpool how good he actually is, but he also probably doesn't want to play against Liverpool because he doesn't want to score against them. It's a very weird Isak saga. It's very weird. But I think it's going to be a win for Liverpool because Newcastle are missing their deadly false 9, big number 9. Is he even a number 9? I don't know. I think he's number 14. But either way, I think it's going to be Newcastle 1, Liverpool 3. I think that Anthony Gordon scores Newcastle's only goal. And I think that Ekatike scores. And I think that Salah scores twice. And I think that the two players to watch in that game are Anthony Gordon and Salah. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Sorry I've been very inconsistent with posts. I have not had much time. Wait, why did I just sound like Jeremy Clarkson there? Fun fact, I actually have a very good Jeremy Clarkson impression. You want to hear it? Ready? I have written a book. There we go, Jeremy Clarkson. Comment down below on the scale of 1 to 10 what you think of that impersonation. Thank you guys for watching and see you next week, hopefully. Adios.